I'm Brad Scott. My company Transmutation is a recycling and manufacturing business in Robe, regional South Australia. Our recycling shop and factory started 6 years ago in an empty shed in a small seaside town about 4 hours from the nearest capital. I mention this because I'm trying to show that you can start a functional and viable recycling business anywhere in Australia in any location. We made four different types of recycling machines based on templates and plans that we found on YouTube as part of the Precious Plastic project. These machines are made from old ovens, car jacks, and scrap metal. Very rudimentary, but they worked. Our mission was to keep as much plastic out of landfill as we possibly could. We started two very successful collaborations with the charity Aussie Bread Tags for Wheelchairs and the fashion icon Country Road. We made quality homeware products from 100% used bread tags that were designed and ranged by Country Road. We also donated to the charity so they could purchase wheelchairs for disabled children. So far, we've recycled 14 tonnes of bread tags, and the charity has purchased over 110 wheelchairs for the children. So we've also had our products ranged in Country Road stores for the last 5 years. Next, we went into injection molding and we looked at our first product, which is the Styro Bowl. So this product was made out of upcycling styrofoam, and we believe we're the only people who have upcycled used styrofoam into a food safe product. We then scaled a business on the back of a chance meeting by a Dulux executive who came through our store with his family on holiday, and he set a challenge. He had this unrecyclable waste that was produced at the Dandenong factory of powder coating. So the powder coating waste, 130 tonnes of it annually, was considered unrecyclable until I came up with a way to actually commercially recycle this product. So we have a patent pending on my process, and it takes the powder coating waste and it converts it into a moldable polymer that we call post-prime plastic. We have a trademark on that product. So this raw material can be inserted at various points in the manufacturing supply chain and replace virgin resins. We won the very prestigious Telstra Best of Business Award this year on a national stage for embracing innovation. So the bar chairs we make are GECA certified or Good Environmental Choice Australia. They're listed on the ISC portal, the Infrastructure Sustainability Council, which gives them an internationally recognised points value in the Green Star and other rating systems. They'll soon have an EPD or Environmental Product Description released on them, making them internationally listed and declaring the full life cycle analysis data on it and the carbon footprint. Our products also have provenance, meaning you can look at the QR code and find out exactly where the product comes from and where it's been manufactured. So this full transparency makes our product the most ESG accredited in its class. They are also the strongest plastic version of this product, so this makes them both operationally and environmentally the best in class. So you would think with this product being so good, the selling would be easy, but you'd be wrong. So my challenge to all listening is for your company to actually buy them. After 2 years of R&D, raising capital, scaling equipment, and refining the manufacturing process, our biggest challenge has been to get the procurement teams and specifiers to change their business as usual attitude. Some instances, we've had CEOs and sustainability managers recommending the use of our product, and the procurement teams obfuscating, delaying, blocking, and then sometimes ignoring these instructions. So the systems and humans' unwillingness to change has been our biggest barrier to getting the product into the market. That being said, we're seeing our bar chairs soon on a big project in Melbourne and also in some select stores from Mitre 10 in South Australia. So a big thank you to those two organisations for rising to the challenge. We've scaled our company now into three divisions. Transmutation Resources supplies our post-prime plastic resin into the market, and it can come in at any point in the market from the raw material point of view and be manufactured into a high quality product. So the idea is we can reverse engineer what the current virgin product was made of and make sure that our post-prime plastic meets that specification. So our aim is to replace virgin resins one bulker bag at a time in this country. Transmutation recomposition is our manufacturing division, and we have compression and injection and 3D printing capabilities to make prototypes and other products. And the 50, 65mm bar chairs are an example of the product we make in this division. Transmutation retail rounds out our circular economy approach, and this sells via our bricks and mortar and our online store into B2C and via our contracts and relationships into a B2B market. So the product's not a circular economy product until someone buys it. So our business also operates with our 4 pillars in mind. These are sustainability, craftsmanship, community, and innovation. So all our actions and our future activities must keep these in mind. We've also started the Australian Micro Recyclers Association to network existing micro recyclers and also help build more sustainable recycling businesses in Australia. We have ordinary and corporate memberships available in this association. We really want to demonstrate that you can make a successful business of whatever scale, in whatever location, using the principle of recycling and circular economy manufacturing in Australia. We are leading the charge with our example, but we also have the assistance and mentoring that the association gives us. The association will grow into the leading network for decentralised manufacturing, focusing on circular economy outcomes. So we're planning our first awards night and social functions next year, as well as combining our collective recycling power to show the scale that decentralised businesses can have when they are grouped and networked together. So transmutation is still very much a small business scaling in to a medium-sized concern. But we have been non-stop research and development company, while also being a tourist attraction, a raw material producer, a recycler, a manufacturer, and a retailer. We're very excited about the future and sincerely hope that the uptake of the ESG principles in this country are accelerated from this point forward and not stalled. So thank you for listening to the presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Anne Azzopardi and I'm the Sustainability Practice Lead at Wolf Peak. Thank you for watching our Innovations for Impact session at this year's ISC conference. Today I'll be walking you through an important tool for sustainable construction, carbon footprint modelling. Carbon modelling can be daunting due to its technical complexity, a lack of standardisation, and limited transparency in reporting. So today I'll attempt to simplify the core principles of carbon modelling and help you better understand how it supports sustainability. And to begin, I'm going to ask a simple question. What's the most sustainable way to clean spilled coffee? Now, no word of a lie, just before I started recording this, I've spilled some of my coffee on my desk. So this one is close to my heart. I've always been that person in the office who's spilling their coffee to the point where colleagues would leave a roll of paper towel by my desk for when the inevitable occurred. But just how sustainable is using paper towel to clean up spilled coffee? Let's see. So using paper towel comes with nearly 20 grams of embodied carbon, which is the carbon emitted during the production and transportation of the product. This is also referred to as Scope 3 emissions. So an alternative method to cleaning up a coffee spill would be using a cotton tea towel. Because it's reusable, it has a much lower embodied carbon footprint compared to the paper towel with just 0.23 grams. However, we also need to factor in washing the tea towel, which results in operational emissions from running a washing machine. This adds a significant amount of carbon, especially if you use an inefficient washing machine. So this would add 26.35 grams of operational carbon to the footprint. But washing machines these days are generally more efficient than that. So if we consider the use of an efficient washing machine, this brings the carbon footprint of the operational carbon down to 4.43 grams. Another scenario we could consider is using recycled paper towel. The embodied carbon here is about 4.43 grams as well, which is similar to the reusable cotton tea towel washed in an efficient washing machine. This demonstrates that some choices For some choices, the carbon footprint of a single-use and reusable item can be quite similar if we don't optimise their usage. Finally, let's consider the scenario of using a standard kitchen sponge to clean the spill. The embodied carbon of a reusable sponge is estimated at 2.33 grams. And similar to the reusable cotton tea towel, though, we need to consider the the operational emissions associated with washing the sponge. When you use cold water to clean the sponge, you emit just over 2 grams of carbon. But you're more likely going to want to use hot water to clean the sponge so that it's cleaned properly. So if we consider that, this increases the operational emissions due to the electricity needed to heat the water. And let's say it's a cold day on site and you need the water to run hot until you put your hand under it. And it feels nice and warm, so you leave your hands there for a little bit longer than you probably should. And this would blow out the operational emissions and shows that you could put all of your effort into identifying a academically lowest carbon option, but behavioural decisions may negate all that hard work that you've undertaken to choose that product. So this shows at the end of the day, whether you use a reusable cotton tea towel, washed in an efficient washing machine, recycled paper towel, or a kitchen sponge washed under cold water, there's no significant difference in the carbon footprint of these scenarios. What you expect may not always be the outcome that you get when you're doing carbon modelling. It's important to make sure that you consider all factors involved, and in particular, the way a product is used. So modelling resource use, including carbon footprints, can assist with this. It offers a means of communicating impacts and influencing decision-making by providing data to justify one option over another. Resource modelling is often required in order to meet contractual requirements or to achieve sustainability ratings, such as ISC ratings. And more broadly, it helps companies meet their decarbonisation targets. It can save time and money and other resources. When modelling carbon emissions, we categorise them into 3 scopes. Scope 1 refers to direct emissions, such as fuel used by construction machinery on site. Scope 2 includes emissions from purchased electricity, like power for the head office or site sheds. And Scope 3 encompasses all other indirect emissions, including emissions associated with materials and transportation. Understanding these distinctions is critical for accurate carbon modelling. A key outcome of carbon modelling is being able to demonstrate a reduction in your carbon footprint based on decisions that have been made on your project or within your organisation. So going back to that coffee spill example, let's look specifically at the emissions reduction achieved by using the recycled paper towel option. First, we need to define a business as usual or BAU scenario to compare our approach to. In this case, it would be the stock standard paper towel that we generally use that has no recycled content. If you use regular paper towel for 3 spills per day over 3 years, you'd emit 64 kilograms of carbon dioxide. By switching to recycled paper towel, you would reduce this to just over 14 kilograms, which is a 77% reduction. This simple change highlights the power of carbon modelling to helping us make better choices and communicate outcomes. Here's an example of calculating carbon reductions that's probably more familiar to us on construction projects. If a project uses a Tier 2 diesel engine, it might burn 20 litres of diesel per hour, generating 365 tonnes of carbon dioxide over 3 years. By switching to a more fuel-efficient Tier 4 engine, emissions drop to 231 tonnes, resulting in a 35% reduction. These numbers clearly show the impact of selecting a more efficient technology. This next example looks at Scope 2 emissions associated with electricity use. If we were to use standard grid electricity to power a site office for 3 years, this could result in emissions of 265 tonnes. If we instead purchased 100% green power for this activity, our footprint would reduce to 0, which is effectively a 100% reduction compared to the business as usual scenario. And another common example of quantifying Scope 3 emissions reductions is looking at concrete and finding low carbon mix designs that maximise supplementary cementitious material, or SCM. In this scenario, using a 15% SCM mix results in 105.8 tonnes of carbon emitted. By switching this to a 30% SCM mix, this is reduced to 91.1 tonnes, which is a 15% savings in Scope 3 emissions. To wrap up, here are some tips to make resource modelling, including carbon modelling, easier. Firstly, Get organised, set boundaries and responsibilities early, and get everyone on board. Keep it simple, focus on straightforward data, and avoid overcomplicating your models. Do it often, regularly collect data to avoid a last-minute scramble, which can lead to errors and gaps. Identify reductions early, plan sustainability initiatives from the beginning, and involve key people in decision-making. Align with corporate commitments, link project data to broader company goals to support bigger picture strategies. And finally, seek help. If data isn't your thing or you're struggling for time, because let's face it, we all are these days, Wolfpeak can help you. Sometimes knowing what questions to ask can make the job 10 times easier, which is what we specialise in. At Wolfpeak, we pride ourselves on building bespoke models for clients to ensure that each unique initiative implemented on projects or within organisations is captured appropriately. So to wrap up, resource modelling is a critical tool for sustainable construction, helping us make data-driven decisions that can lead to significant carbon reductions. By applying these principles, you'll not only meet project requirements, but also contribute to long-term sustainability goals. So thank you for your time today. Please reach out to us if you have any questions and enjoy the rest of the conference.